Don Bradman Cricket 14 was and still is one of the most ambitious cricket games ever. 2.5 years later, TBC 17 came out. The game wasn't as well received. In fact, the game was roasted by many. Is it really that bad? Or is it better than Don Bradman 14? Let's find out. Don Bradman Cricket 17 visually was just plain average. The game looked like one of those stickman games. It looked like a PS2, early PS3 game, to be honest. Lighting is flat, everything looks plain, and to top it off, there is an army of bugs and glitches. I stopped playing day matches altogether because it looked trash. Night games are a little better with lights bouncing off stuff and it looks alright. Still nothing extraordinary, but okay. The truly mysterious thing about it is that just 11 months later, Bradman Studios released Ashes Cricket. That game looks about 5 times as good, and I'm not even exaggerating one bit. And the even bigger mystery is Don Bradman Cricket 14, a game that came out a whole 2.5 years before this, looks better too. So both TBC 17 sequel and prequel look better. I mean, it's like the eldest and youngest look like models and the middle one looks like a combination of a mole rat and a frog in human form. Don Bradman 14 on the other hand is a beautiful game. The fact that it came out for PS3 is insane. I honestly 100% believe the game looks better than TBC 17, which isn't saying all that much. It's like saying you look better than a gym. But still, I love the way the game looks. Pitches look real, cracks and rough areas and wet patches. Player models look like people from the 1970s with big forearms and even bigger stashes. The lighting is out of this world good. This isn't like it looks good, but for a cricket game. This game can go toe to toe against most games from 2014. I think that happened for the first time. Usually other games look like they're from the future and cricket titles look like potatoes. But okay, graphics aren't everything, right? Which is totally not a white lie, just like money not mattering. But in all seriousness, if gameplay is great, I think we all would play it even if it looked average. But unfortunately, the game runs about as well as it looks, which is not great at all, to put it lightly. If I had to describe it, it runs like a car without engine oil, banged up, making noises that don't even sound like they're from this planet until it gives up and dies. Don Bradman 17 is still fun because it has TBC 14's gameplay mechanics. If Don Bradman 14 didn't exist and this was Bradman Studios' first game, it would have been a bigger cluster than Cyberpunk 2077 on launch day. The ball goes for 6 even though bat and ball aren't even close, ball going through the bat, batsmen moving all over the place and many more glitches. Some are funny, others will want to make you rip your hair out. I don't know what went wrong because TBC 14 isn't like this at all. Yeah, it had a few issues, but they popped up very rarely. Maybe Bradman Studios had problems with development, they made 5 games and only TBC 17 feels totally unpolished. Of course, TBC 14 was the first game with a career mode. I have talked a lot about it in other videos, click on the iCard to see a full review. But in short, the career mode is great. Gameplay is the main reason it's so great. The reason you will play multiple careers. 17 on the other hand didn't add a lot. You start off at the club level instead of playing for a domestic team straight away, which is the only big change. It was fine, but because gameplay is a little wonky, it's not as much fun as it could have been. This wasn't even a fair comparison. This is like putting the 2003 Australian cricket team against a country that thinks a pitch is a throw. It's just not fair. TBC 14 is one of the best cricket games of all time, even the best according to some. Don Bradman 17 is average or below average. Other than Ashes Cricket 2013, I really can't think of any game that is downright worse. Don Bradman Cricket 14 is a great game. Click the video on screen to see a full-on review. It's mostly me fangirling over the game, so be warned. Subscribe if you like this one. Thanks for watching and have a great day ahead.